Hey everybody, I'm Eric from Valve, and today we're going to talk about the UTM Analytics feature in Steamworks. In this video, we're going to cover what UTM Analytics is, how to create a link with UTM parameters and point it to your Steam store page, and where to go to view all the data. All right, let's jump right in. All right, a good place to start is answering a simple question, which is, what is UTM tracking? UTM is an industry standard approach to measuring whether a specific link in your marketing campaign is being clicked on by customers. UTM stands for Urchin Tracking Module, which is really just variants of URL parameters which are used to track the effectiveness of your online marketing campaigns. A link using UTM has specifically named UTM parameters added to a link's destination address. These UTM parameters reveal which link was clicked when a customer visits the destination address. Before we dive into just how to track the effectiveness of your campaign using UTM Analytics, it's important to talk about privacy on Steam. We take privacy very seriously, and we don't share customer personal data in the UTM Analytics report. To protect customer privacy, the information provided is kept at a very summary view, with absolutely no personal data included. This allows you to learn just how your campaign is performing while also protecting that customer privacy. All right, so how do I use UTM tracking and analytics on Steam? Well, before we get started, ensure that you're using an account with View Marketing Traffic Data permission on your game. You will need this to be able to access the UTM Analytics dashboard that has all the data. The next step is walking you through just how to reach that UTM Analytics dashboard. And we're going to walk you through that starting with our test app, which is Spacewar. Here we are on the app landing page for Spacewar. And as we scroll down this page, you're going to see a section called Marketing Tools and Data. And within that, you can see Marketing and Visibility. And of course, remember, you can only see this section if you have the correct permissions in Steamworks. Clicking on Marketing and Visibility takes you to the marketing section of our test app. And on the top, if you select UTM Analytics, it will take you to the UTM Analytics dashboard. Okay, here we are on the UTM Analytics dashboard for our test app Spacewar. And as you can see, there's not a lot to look at. And that's because we don't have any UTM Analytics data for the selected date range that we have. But if we change that date range to, let's say, 6 months and a time period when we have some analytic data, you can see that suddenly we have a pretty graph below, as well as a bunch of data on the top of the page. And so let's take a look at the individual sections here. The top section here being a count of all UTM visits to your game store page during the selected date range. And below that, you can see a nice graph that helps you to understand that data. Now, if you want to get a more detailed breakdown of your UTM analytic data, you can scroll down to the page to see breakdown. And in this section, this detailed view includes information that you can filter based off of whatever you like. So we could choose a different source, such as advertiser 1, and we could even select which campaign we used in a given time period, or we could select medium, content, or term, all based off of the UTM parameters that you have included in your link. And then if we scroll back up on the page, we can see that graph based off of the breakdown of information that you have. In addition to that, you can also select a CSV download option, and you can easily import that CSV file into the analytics tool of your choice. All right, so before you're going to see any data here for your game, you're going to need to create a link with UTM parameters. Here's how to get started. Okay, let's talk about how to create a link with UTM parameters. To start, it's important to understand that any UTM link must point to your app's Steam store page. If you try to link to any other page on Steam, they're not currently supported. Here's an example. store.steampower.com/app/your-app-id. Remember, the link must include the UTM source or UTM campaign parameter, but you can also add UTM medium, UTM content, or UTM term if you desire. All right, once you've made your link, from the UTM Analytics dashboard, you can click the Test a UTM Link button to test out your link. Just keep in mind that data will not appear in the dashboard until a minimum click threshold is met. But rest assured that if the link works via this handy tool that we provided, then will also work for customers. Here are some frequently asked questions that we get about UTM analytics in Steam. First is, do UTM links get recorded if the store page opens up an age gate? And the answer to that is yes, the UTM click event will be recorded before the redirect to the age gate page occurs. So customers who decide to stop at the age gate are still recorded as having clicked the UTM link. The next question is, what devices are supported? And the answer, any device with a modern browser capable of showing the Steam store page is supported. This will include mobile devices and also tablets. We do not currently display which types of devices customers are using when they visit the store page via UTM link. If a user signs into Steam on their mobile device where they click the UTM link, then subsequently makes a wish list or purchase on a different computer, we will recognize that as a conversion. The next question we frequently get is, what are tracked visits? Well, tracked visits are by users who are logged into Steam in the browser where they open the UTM link. Only tracked visits are eligible for conversion: wishlist, purchase, activation, reporting. The last question that we frequently get is, why am I not seeing UTM visits for my campaign on that UTM analytics dashboard? Some possible reasons include, if your campaign just started, you may need to wait for the UTM dashboard to refresh. Visit counts refresh hourly. Visits are also not reported until a minimum number of visits is reached for reporting. Finally, there may be an issue with the link that you're using. Remember to use the Test a Link tool available in the UTM dashboard to check if your link meets those reporting requirements. All right, in summary, when should I use UTM tracking? When you're running a marketing campaign that is directing traffic to Steam and you'd like to gain insight into how that campaign is performing. The most common use case is to gauge the effectiveness or conversion rate of an advertising campaign, but you can use it to track traffic and conversions from any marketing activities that you're doing online. Now, as a reminder, we've deliberately designed Steam to be ad-free, and we don't accept advertising dollars or charge for marketing placements on Steam itself. So this feature is for tracking off of Steam marketing or advertising that you do independently off of Steam. How do I use UTM analytics? Well, make a link to your Steam store page with those UTM parameters, then go to your app landing page, marketing and visibility, and then the UTM analytics tab to see the data that you've gathered. If you're looking for more information, here is a link to our documentation on UTM analytics. And if you have other questions, of course, you can contact our biz and tech teams directly using the link below. Okay, that's everything you need to know about UTM analytics on Steam. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.